as the U.S. is trying to open and further these lines of communication with China, it very much feels like progress is made. Something like this happens, you take a step back again.
Yeah. I mean, that's exactly what seems to be happening here, where, they've been so determined to get this relationship back to some level of normalcy. Like, hey, we want to keep lines of communication open. World's two biggest economies. We kind of got to get along. Every time that happens, something happens. Maybe it's the balloon. Maybe it's sanctions against the Chinese government for Xinjiang. And now we get these emails. I mean, literally, these disclosures about the email hack came yesterday and the day before. And then today, Antony Blinken is in Jakarta meeting Wang Yi. He brings it up, but, it's an obvious point of tension.
We know that Gina Raimondo was planning a trip to China, might in fact be the next high-ranking official to go there, and it would be an interesting conversation because she would be the one talking about the technologies in a very specific way that we don't want China to receive. Do we have any sense of what kind of communications they intercepted from her?
Well, what we're hearing is there's some sort of indication that maybe it's not so much what Gina Raimondo is telling other people in her emails, but it's more the kind of information that she is privy to, either information that the Commerce Department is getting or she is CC'd on, whatever it may be, because, commerce is really ground zero for a lot of the efforts, the export controls, the outbound investment orders that the U.S. is planning. So in a lot of ways, let's be frank, this is pretty routine stuff as well, these kind of hacking attacks. I mean, it's both sides do it. So, we know China would be very interested in what she's thinking about for these EOs, which should be coming in the next couple months.
And also raised at this meeting between Secretary Blinken and his counterpart was what China called unjustifiable illegal sanctions against it. Is there any sign that the U.S. is going to start to budge on that front so that Lloyd Austin, for example, can meet his own counterpart?
I mean, this is one of the great challenges of the U.S. approach to China, because these sanctions against the Chinese defense minister imposed in 2018, President Biden, there was some indication at the time that he did want to lift these sanctions, but essentially, the pushback, the political fallout would be so great if he said, okay, hey, we're going to lift those sanctions so we can talk. Then China says, well, wait a minute. You're not going to lift those sanctions. We don't want to talk to you. I mean, it's, again, another sign of how these two countries just can't seem to get to a place where logic and reason and some sense of comedy will prevail. And there is absolutely no sign that the U.S. is going to let up on these sanctions anytime soon.
Well, it feels like, the breach, at least in terms of public perception, might have the White House on its heels a little bit here. Nancy, you spent enough time covering the administration to be sensitive to that view. And this is on the same day that the president's chair of the FTC, forwarding the mission of this administration in its relationship with corporate America, testified on Capitol Hill. It was not a fun day for her, as she was labeled a bully and took some pretty difficult questions and dealt with accusations. I want to hear from Ms. Lina Khan in this contentious hearing. Take a look.
As was noted in the written memoranda, there was no ethics violation created by my participating in the matter.
But you didn't follow the DEO's advice, did you? You could have recused at any time, couldn't you?
I followed the determination that there was no ethics violation.
You could have recused at any time, couldn't you?
There was no violation under the ethics laws because I have not a penny in financial stock.
That was specific to a case involving Meta. They also talked about Microsoft, of course, having lost that lawsuit to try to prevent Microsoft's acquisition of Activision. Easy for me to say. How does this all add up in terms of the competency of this administration?
Well, I think that it really is a huge blow to the FTC and to the progressive agenda to try to hold big tech accountable. We saw Lina Khan really, she suffered these two cases, these two losses with the FTC with both Microsoft and Meta. Those are huge blows. Yeah. And now that Republicans control the House, politically they are trying to make an example of her because to them she really represents this progressive wing of the party, that wants to do more antitrust, bust-ups. They want to investigate these companies more. And I think House Republicans are sending a very key signal that this is not what they want her to be doing. And it's, it's a loss of political capital for her.
But it isn't just Lina Khan. I was speaking with a member of this committee, a Democratic member, Steve Cohen, from Tennessee, who basically was like, we've gotten used to this here at Judiciary because it's just any official affiliated with the administration in any way receives this kind of treatment. It just kind of speaks to the partisan nature of many of these oversight hearings or investigations or what have you.
That's absolutely true. And it's the same when Democrats are in power. You know, the parties basically take turns at this point using the House committees to sort of make political points, score political points. And I think that we're going to see a lot more of that heading into 2024 because the stakes of the presidential election are so high and House Republicans are going to want to make an example out of Biden officials.